Traction of the shoulder, the circumduction. Then we're going to look at the internal external rotation into flexion. Then I want to add in some scapulothoracic, because if we were going to work on this aspect, I like to work on the scapulothoracic. And for me, it's really easy to do in side lying. Yeah, I'm going to just lift your shirt up. If that's cool. Actually, can you take it off? Do you mind? Awesome stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you from this side, then I'm going to get the patient just to turn over. So you'd imagine I would have walked around, okay? But I want you guys to sit and relax because it's early. So, again, it all depends on how much, hey guys, you're right, how much movement we can get. Just let me take it on. If we can only get to here, because he's got some form of pathology, that's fine. We can still traction back and add an element of circumduction. Okay, we can still do this. Everything we do, we can still do this depending. If he's able to, I like to bring the arm up. If he can only get to here, that's fine. We can lock it in and traction from this position. I just have to change my stance slightly. So I like to lock it in and use my body rather than use my arms. If we can get him higher, brilliant, because this allows me just to lock him, squat down and pull up. So I keep it simple. I drop my body down to start with, because if I don't do that and I do this, use my arms. So I will drop my body down, lock it in and just squat up using my legs. This allows me to spend as much time as I like. I shouldn't really be fatiguing. I'm talking to you quite comfortably whilst I'm mobilizing in traction and circumduction. So this is nice and gentle, quite easy. From here we can add our externals and internals. We can add, you do MET stuff or whatever you want to call it. From this position we can stabilize. He can push down and I can resist, and then just relax and go and relax. So we can start to add an element of soft tissue technique into this. The transition, I get him to hold on to my elbow and then I contact his, because this allows me now stabilize in the GH to bring it down, and then from here we can start to create some flexion. Now I'm just going to stabilize the shoulder, stop it from falling around. From here we can add an element of flexion. This can also be turned into an MET, because all I get him to do is with very light resistance, just bring his elbow down. And as he contracts the muscle, bring your elbow down for me. So just going to do this movement, yeah? And look, I can just resist. I'm leaning back, so it's not really any hassle for me. Stabilize. As he relaxes, just relax, relax, relax. There we go, just relax. Good stuff. And now, just do it again for me. There we go. Just for 10%. That's it. I just need to activate the muscle. Just like, just keep going, keep going.
He's resisting you?
Yeah, just tiny bit. And then just breathe out for me and relax. Just relax. Relax. Okay. So what I want you to do again, and bear in mind, if you notice, I'm tapping. I get a little bit of a mind-muscle connection going, and I do it all the time. It's not being creepy. That's creepy. That's a mind-muscle connection, yeah? And then I'll say, right, just pull down again for me. That's it, keep going, keep going, keep going. Just breathe in.
So he does this one,
Yeah. And then just breathe out and relax for me. Good stuff, mate, good stuff. Okay. And then just do that again for me. Keep going, keep going. I've got to watch that and time it. And just relax, 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 relax. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Good stuff. Yeah? So and now we can now reinforce that movement with the articulation. We can change the angle and think, all right, what about sort of rib work? Shorten, lock, and start to stretch. I sort of lock down and I just step back. It's more of a soft tissue technique, but I still like to add it in, lock it down, contact. So from here we can add our flexion. Oh, looking at us, nice. And then we can lock it in and start to work. So for me, a lot of what I'm doing is just, it's a leg movement. Because the problem is if you don't, you sort of start to do this. It becomes fatiguing. All of this becomes fatiguing. If you can't hold, just relax the arm for me. There we go. He can resist, just pull down that way. That's it. And just relax. Yeah? We can start moving through the structures. So we've gone from traction, circumduction, external and internal rotation, into resisted, into flexion, into a rib mobilization. Yeah? All with one position. He doesn't have to do anything. I can do it all for him and we can start working on the complex. After that, we're going to now move on to scapulothoracic. So let's do that first and then we'll move on to the scapulothoracic.